Imagine getting a roommate who doesn't argue about rent because he lives in 1995 while you're stuck in 2018. The tale opens in the year 2000 with our heroine, Sarah, who was just 12 when she lost her father. This heartbreaking event forced her to abandon the home of her childhood and relocate. Years rolled by, and Sarah is now employed, but her deepest desire remains to buy back that very house, her late father's residence. Unfortunately, her modest income makes this dream almost impossible, and her job offers little satisfaction. At the same time, a young man named Xiang, involved in property deals, aspires to start his own company. Xiang shows his blueprints to potential investors, yet they leave him behind without explanation. That same evening, he returns to his place, just as Sarah heads to hers. They both live in the same apartment, except Xiang occupies it in 1995, while Sarah inhabits it in 2018. The strange idea of two people sharing a home across different timelines almost sounds like the ultimate trick for avoiding shared utility bills. Inside their rooms, Sarah sits quietly while Xiang busies himself washing vegetables and preparing food. Out of nowhere, Sarah discovers vegetables floating in her bathtub, while Xiang stumbles upon a dress that clearly belongs to her. Bewildered and unable to make sense of the odd occurrences, they both eventually fall asleep. The next morning, Sarah wakes to find Xiang beside her, and in sheer panic, she slaps him hard. Shocked, they notice their separate rooms have merged into a single large chamber. Sarah instantly assumes he is an intruder and attacks him with anything in reach. Xiang, equally stunned, realizes their spaces have somehow fused. From his window, he sees gloomy clouds, yet from Sarah's side, bright daylight shines. Opening his door leads him back into 1995, but when Sarah tries hers, she steps out into 2018. Alarmed, she quickly locks her door. Xiang, however, is left amazed by what just happened. Though Xiang is still living in 1995, Sarah's world belongs to 2018, already filled with modern technology. Slowly coming to terms with the truth, they are bound to the same apartment but divided by time. Sarah slaps him again, claiming she wanted to confirm whether this was a dream or reality. Xiang insists that fighting won't solve anything, proposing instead that they try opening their doors at once. They attempt it, and once again their rooms collapse into one, teaching them never to open both doors together. At this point, Sarah recalls that her father had died in 1999. She pleads with Xiang to open his side so she might see him once more. Overcome with longing, she enters his timeline. To her delight, she sees her father alive, sitting with the 12-year-old version of herself. Overwhelmed, she rushes toward them, but the moment turns chaotic as the environment twists, winds roar, and she is pulled back before she can reach him. Furious and heartbroken, she returns to her apartment. Xiang reminds her that just as he took her into his timeline, she should also let him see hers. Sarah then gives him her modern laptop. Seeing it, he smiles in awe, for in his time, only primitive computers existed. Curious, he types his name into the search bar and discovers shocking truths about his fate, but before he can read, suddenly their room starts merging again. Realizing the dangers, Sarah warns him that they cannot directly contact people from each other's timelines, for such interference could trigger severe consequences. She explains that she can only exit through her own door, and he through his, though they may cross into each other's timelines via those respective doors. Meanwhile, in another scene, a scientist and a businessman are in a meeting, discussing the creation of the time bank. The scientist explains that they succeeded in bending time, but instead of settling into their dimension, the timeline has become trapped in another space. Stabilization is urgent. The businessman, however, cares little for science, and instead asks how much profit could be generated from exploiting it, because apparently, even time travel isn't safe from capitalism. Later that night, Xiang returns home while Sarah reflects on her grief. She confesses that ever since her father passed away, she copes by staring at his car keys, clinging to the memory of him. Because of unpaid loans, their house was taken away, yet her deepest wish remains to one day buy it back. The following morning, both Sarah and Xiang leave their time bank apartment. Sarah is looking for marriage, but she has a condition for it. She will only wed a man who agrees to return her father's home to her. Because of this unusual demand, Sarah has gone on numerous dates with affluent men, yet none ever accepted her condition. Then at last, she encounters one who is wealthy, daring, and willing to comply, giving her a fragile sense of hope. Still, she remains uneasy, haunted by the eerie voices she keeps hearing. Tempted by the promise of wealth, however, she agrees to marry this older rich man. With confidence, he assures her that he will repurchase her late father's home and have a nameplate engraved with both of their names on it. Sarah realizes that finally now she can live the life she always wanted. Naturally, he reminds her, such grand gestures require money, not to mention several smaller expenses she has likely overlooked. He asks if she can provide a little cash for now. Persuaded by his smooth talk, Sarah withdraws money from an ATM and hands it to him. Soon after, he excuses himself to fetch water, but hours pass and he never comes back. The truth dawns that he was nothing more than a con man who escaped with her money. Devastated, Sarah is left shattered as the police arrive to investigate. Meanwhile, Xiang is inside the office washroom when the company owner walks in with 2 associates. The owner instructs them to continue visiting clients since he has many ambitious plans, then leaves. As soon as he exits, one of the men whispers about deceiving the owner and keeping the profits for themselves, moving the money directly into the bank. Xiang overhears and, startled, accidentally makes a noise. The group realizes someone is listening. Before he can move, one man drags him out by the leg and warns him to stay quiet, even promising him a share of the profits if he keeps silent. Terrified, Xiang agrees. Later, however, when he seeks support, the union leader brushes him off, saying, "Why should I include you? You only heard my words, you have no proof." He then declares Xiang dismissed. Despite Xiang's desperate pleas and promises never to reveal the truth, the leader ignores him and forces him out of the job. Around this period, Sarah begins working at a jewelry shop, where fate reunites her with an old best friend. The two share laughter and stories. During their chat, her friend boasts about her wealthy husband, claiming he is always preoccupied, and invites Sarah and her husband for dinner. Having fabricated her marriage earlier, Sarah is now trapped in her own lie. To cover it up, she persuades Xiang to pose as her spouse. She buys him costly clothes, dressing him up as a prosperous businessman, and takes him along. At dinner, Sarah introduces Xiang as her husband with pride. At first, the evening seems to go smoothly, but Xiang eats in haste and awkwardly refuses the offered wine. Matters worsen when the couple notices a rental tag on his coat. To salvage the moment, Xiang pretends to run a big company, boasting exaggerated tales. His performance makes the couple burst into laughter. Humiliated, Sarah tries to prove her claim by producing a diamond ring, but in her nervousness, she drops it. To her horror, the diamond melts into the liquid, and this makes Sarah so embarrassed. Shocked, her friends realize the ring is fake and start laughing at her. Humiliated, Sarah leaves in shame. That night, as she sits reflecting, Xiang notices a television program featuring a lottery. Immediately, both begin dreaming of becoming rich overnight. They study the numbers carefully, and the next day, they travel back to 1999 to purchase the winning lottery ticket. Convinced that they can now change their destiny, they grow excited and celebrate. Later, Sarah even takes Xiang to her own timeline, and the two share drinks together. At a restaurant, however, the owner demands payment. Embarrassed, Sarah admits that all her money is gone, but hands over her expensive watch as collateral, promising to return with the cash the next day. Morning arrives, and they rush to check the lottery results, and they win, but to their horror, their ticket is missing. Crestfallen, they realize they cannot alter fate. When they return to the restaurant to reclaim the watch, the owner refuses, saying she must pay first. With no money, she is forced to leave it behind. Frustrated, they walk home, and just then, a massive advertisement flashes on a screen. To their utter shock, it shows Xiang in 2018, now a wealthy businessman giving a media interview. Stunned, he wonders how he could possibly have become such a person in the future. Intrigued and bewildered, they decide to track down the place where his future self exists. When Xiang tries to approach the Liquid chairman, in the ensuing chaos, the entire scene shifts, and Xiang suddenly experiences a strange wave of development in his timeline. At this moment, Future Min begins to feel as though he has lived through these events centuries before. Connected memories resurface. Meanwhile, in the chaos past, Xiang falls and injures his hand. At the very same time, the same wound appears on future Xiang's hand. This reveals a crucial truth. Whatever Xiang does in the past directly affects the chairman in the future. Suddenly, the earlier meeting scene makes sense. The mysterious figure in the start of the story who was talking about the time bank was future Xiang himself, and the junior was actually the union leader who had fired Xiang in 1999. The junior now explains that since timelines overlap, Xiang will continue receiving fragmented memories, and these flashes may eventually become dangerous. The next day, past Xiang storms into the union leader's office and declares that instead of being fired, he is resigning on his own. With that, he walks away. Meanwhile, future Xiang went to Sarah, who was working at a jewelry shop. He asked her out on the date, and Sarah agrees with him, but even as she was with Xiang, she cannot find the same happiness she felt with past Xiang. They then went to the luxurious restaurant. During dinner, future Xiang grows frustrated and cold. He tells Sarah that I know you have feelings for that past pity Xiang, but you must not remain with him. If you do, my destiny will collapse. I am striving toward a greater goal, and your presence may cause problems. In exchange, I will give you back your childhood home, but you must leave Xiang behind in 1999. Left without options, Sarah reluctantly agrees, realizing she cannot risk destroying his carefully constructed future. That night, Sarah went to her apartment and told Xiang that she has found another job and will be leaving. The next morning, she packs her belongings and sorrowfully leaves the apartment, deciding to part ways. However, she leaves the time door slightly ajar. Xiang notices this and realizes he can cross timelines without help. Meanwhile, the union leader went with the original plan and attacked the manager. His plan was clear. They must intoxicate the manager, kill him, and disguise it as an accident so no suspicion falls on them. Meanwhile, Sarah revisits her childhood after many years. Future Xiang then comes to her house and returns the purse that she had once given her watch as collateral. But she notices something as
odd.
this Xiang was wearing the same blazer that had the rental tag. From this, she realizes she isn't witnessing the future Xiang, but rather the past one. Overcome with emotion, she kisses him and says, "Our separation is the only way to protect your future. Never try to meet me again." Both cry bitterly, parting in anguish. Xiang then returns heartbroken, while Sarah shoulders the burden of sacrifice. Soon after, past Xiang receives a call from the union leader who was asking him to urgently come to an address. Confused, he wonders why he would summon him after he had already resigned. In reality, the union leader needs his help in assassinating the company's owner. He insists the death must look like an accident. Xiang came, and in that moment, he realized the terrible truth that back in 1999, future Xiang and the union leader had killed the owner together, which had enabled future Xiang to rise to wealth and power as the bank manager. Shocked, Xiang finally pieces everything together. Suddenly, he realized something else. The keychain from the manager's car, and soon he understood it all. The manager was actually Sarah's father, and because of him, she became an orphan. Understanding it all, Xiang resolves to change fate. He intervenes, preventing the union leader from killing the owner and saving him instead. By doing this, he collapses the path that led to future Xiang's corrupt success. As timelines reset, Sarah regains her chance to spend time with her late father and childhood memories. Time itself begins to shift, altering everything. Xiang sees the world transform before his eyes. Racing desperately, he and Sarah rush toward the apartment, finally meeting in the same place and running into each other's arms. Tears fill Sarah's eyes as Xiang tells her, "Soon, you will leave. You are 7 years older than me, but I know you better than anyone. I will never abandon you. No matter what, I will find you again and love you." Sarah breaks down, deeply moved. 8 years later, the story leaps forward. Sarah is now walking with her favorite music playing in the background. At that very moment, Min spots her. He approaches, but Sarah mistakes him for a thief and angrily demands to know why he is following her. Xiang felt a pang of pain and sigh that this love story will also start with her initial cute violence, and with this, the story draws to an end.